In this lecture, let's see how to use sequential scales in D3. Sequential scales is also a type of continuous scale like linear scale, time scale, power scale and log scale. So sequential scales is used for mapping continuous input values to an output range defined by some interpolators. So there are some predefined interpolators in D3. You can use that, or even you can go for custom interpolators. So there are many predefined color interpolators in D3, and we will see how to use those preset interpolators with D3's sequential scales. So I have already saved a web page, and let's add the script section here. Script. So we are going to display some circles within the SVG using the colors defined with sequential scales. So we want to display them horizontally. So I plan to use a linear scale to decide the position along the x-axis, and we are going to fill the circles with the colors defined using sequential scales. So sequential scales are used for mapping continuous inputs to output ranges defined by interpolators. Okay, so first let me define the width and height for our SVG. So let the width be say 800 and the height be say 400. Now let me have the data. So where my data equals, instead of defining the numbers in an array, let me use the range method offered by D3. So if you are familiar with PHP, you might be knowing how to use range function. You will define the starting value, ending value and the step. So suppose you specify 0, 10, 1, then that particular array will contain 0, 1, 2, 3 like that up to 10. Suppose you specify 0, 10, 5, then the values will be 0, 5 and 10. So the step decides how much the value should be incremented. So let me specify D3 dot range. I am specifying 0, 100 and the step as 20. So what will be the values in the my data? It will be 0, 20, 40, 60, 80 and 100. Okay. Now let me define the linear scale first. So linear scale equals D3 dot scale linear, and I have to specify the domain and range. So dot domain. So instead of using D3 dot min and max, here I am trying to hard code the values 0, 100 because here we are going to concentrate more on sequential scales. Then I also want to specify the range. So dot range, and for this let me specify 0, width. So the width is 800. So this is set as the maximum for the output range. Next, I'm going to use the sequential scales. Okay. So where, let me specify it as color scale because here we are going to use different preset color interpolators. Okay. So color scale D3 dot, the name of the function or the method is scale sequential, and for this we need to specify the domain only because the range will be defined by preset interpolators. So for the domain, let me specify dot domain, and within square brackets let me set the same values, that is 0, 100, which are the min and max values. And then I need to define the interpolator. For this we need to specify interpolator instead of range because we are going to map our input domain values to output values defined by interpolators. So within brackets there are a number of predefined interpolators in D3, and I am going to use the interpolator like interpolate rainbow. This is providing rainbow colors, that is violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. So this, okay, it should be D3 dot interpolate rainbow. So interpolate rainbow is a predefined interpolator in D3 which provides rainbow colors. So now we have two scales defined within our script section. Next let me add the SVG. So where SVG equals D3 dot select body dot append SVG, then I need to set the width and height for this. So dot attr, let the width be the width defined, which is in the width variable, and I also have to set the height. So dot attr height, it is defined in the height variable, right? So comma height. Now we have the SVG. Next I'm going to add some circles. So where circles equals SVG dot select all circle, then I need to join the data. So dot data, it is there in my data, which we have defined using d3.range. Next what we need to do, we need to specify the enter selection, right? So circles dot enter, then I need to append circle, and for the circle we need to specify radius cx and cy, and we are going to use the fill color with this color scale. Okay, so here let me specify dot attr radius, and let me set the radius as say 20. Then I have to specify the cx and cy values, right? So dot attr cx, and for this we are going to use the linear scale. So function d return linear scale of d. Then we need to define the cy. So attr cy, let me specify cy as say 100, because all the circles can have the same cy because we want to display them horizontally, right? Then I also want to set the style, that is style fill. What should be the value? We are going to use the color scale for that. So function d return color scale of d. This will be the color defined using interpolate rainbow, right? Now let me save this and show you. Okay, we are not getting the output. Let's check the code once again. Let me try to add the background color for SVG, so we will know whether there is any error there. So dot style, let me specify background as pink, and let's see the output. Okay, still we are not getting anything. Okay, here we need to have brackets, in fact, scale sequential, then open and close parenthesis like scale linear itself. Now let's check the output. Let me save. Okay, now the SVG is added, but the circles are not displayed. Let's check the code. Okay, here instead of circle, one R is missing. That was a spelling error. So circle, and let me save this. See, we are seeing 5 circles, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And the first one is not seen completely visible. Why? Because we have specified here the radius as 20, and the first one, its value will be 0, right? So we are seeing only the half of it. So what we can do, let me here just add plus 30 and see the change. See, now 5 circles are displayed. So this is 0, 20, 40, 60 and 80. When we specify 100, that value is not inclusive. That is why we are seeing 5 circles. Suppose I increase this to 110 and see the change. Let me save this. Still we are seeing 5 only. Why? Because here we have specified the maximum as width, right? Let me just subtract minus 100 from here and save. See, now we are seeing 6 circles, and if you see, these are the colors of a rainbow, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. These are displayed in the color of a rainbow. Different rainbow colors are given for each circle. Now suppose I increase the radius by 30, that is, I am making it 50, and let me show you the output. Let me save this. See, the circles are now displayed like this. Okay. So here as it is 30, we are still not able to see the full circle. So the better way is we can define where radius as some value, say 50, and here instead of hard coding it, let me specify radius, and here let me specify radius and see the change. Save. See, now 6 circles are displayed. They are in different colors of a rainbow. Now instead of increasing this by 20, suppose I increase this by 10. That is, now we will have values like 0, 10, 20 like that. Now let me save this and show you. See, more circles are now displayed, right? 0, this is for 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 and 100. 110 will not be displayed. Why? Because 110 is not inclusive when we specify d3.range. 0, 110 means 110 is not inclusive. Next, suppose I change this to 1. What will happen? Let me save this. See, now the output is displayed like a color bar, right? Though these are actually circles, those circles are displayed at very close points. We are seeing this as a color bar only, right? Now, this is actually represented completely, but here we could not see the full circle. That is why here it is displayed as a line. Here we are seeing something like a circle, but here the end is displayed like a line. So what we can do, we can change the values and see. Suppose instead of width minus 100, if I make it width minus 200 and see, now it is displayed like this. And also here, instead of radius, if I increase it by say 80 and see the change, see, now the color bar is displayed like this. So even if here we are using circles, why it is displayed like a color bar instead of circles? Because here we have changed the values in the array, that is the source, like 0, 1, 10, 1, which means the values will be continuous. Suppose I change this to 0.5, still it will be a color bar only. So here we have used interpolate rainbow. Like this, there are a number of preset interpolators in D3. Another one is interpolate cool. Let me show you the change in colors. Let me save this. See, the colors are now displayed like this. It is something like blue-green shades, right? And again we have interpolate warm and save this. See, now the colors are different. And you can also go for custom interpolators in this case. So instead of specifying d3.interpolate warm, interpolate cool or interpolate rainbow, you can go for your own interpolators. Suppose I specify d3.interpolate within brackets deep pink and indigo, as we have done in a previous lecture in color mapping. You can specify different colors here. Let me save this. See, now it is displayed as different shades of deep pink and indigo. Suppose instead of this, let me specify red and blue, then it will be those shades. See, red and blue. So like this, you can go for predefined interpolators or even custom interpolators, and sequential scales are used to map continuous input values to output ranges defined by preset or custom interpolators. So here actually we have specified scale sequential as the name of the method and dot interpolator, then the custom or predefined interpolator. Now instead of this, you can also do one thing, that is within this scale sequential method itself, you can define your interpolators. So suppose I want to use this, let me copy and paste it here and end this statement. Still we will get the output. See, we are still getting the output. So it is not necessary to use this dot interpolator then define the interpolator. Instead you can use it along with d3.scale sequential, and within brackets you can specify your interpolator. So instead of this, if you want to go for a predefined one, you can specify interpolate rainbow, and let me show you the output. Let me save this. See, now this is the predefined rainbow interpolator. Now we have seen three predefined interpolators. They are interpolate rainbow, interpolate warm and interpolate cool. There are some more predefined interpolators like interpolate magma, interpolate plasma, etc. You can go to the official d3.js site to see different predefined interpolators. Let me try with interpolate plasma and show you the output. See, this is interpolate plasma. So in addition to interpolate rainbow or interpolate warm, interpolate cool, there are some more predefined interpolators in D3. You can check the official website. So this is how you need to use the sequential scales in D3, and sequential scales are mostly used when you have to do some kind of color scales, because it is easy to try different colors with sequential scales as we have done in this lecture.